Hey Astro Kids, and welcome back. And in today's video, we'll be talking about the horoscope for the month of April 2023. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. So up on the screen here is a depiction of the different transits that are going to take place during this month of April. And this is a huge month as we are going to have a solar eclipse along with Jupiter finally making its way into the sign of Aries. We have a lot of activity mainly happening within the sign of Aries. So especially for those of you who have a cardinal sign or one of the Kendra signs, or if you have a fire sign, then this is going to be a major month for you. So starting off here, we have a full moon in the Hasta Nakshatra. So this is definitely a time of letting go. The full moon we know is all about bringing things to a place of completion. And Hasta, especially as it is signified by a hand or a fist, is about grasping onto things. So this full moon is all about letting go of those tight attachments that you have that are no longer serving you. The sign of Virgo, as we know, is ruled by Mercury. So there's a lot of analysis, a lot of intellectual powers that are within this sign of Virgo. So this especially is about letting go of anything that you are worrying about, that you are trying to predict that might happen, really getting out of that space of anxiety and overanalyzing, letting go of all of those worries and concerns that no longer serve you. Following this, Venus will enter into its own sign of Taurus on the same day here on the 6th of April. So Venus feels very comfortable in the sign of Taurus. However, when Venus comes into Taurus, it will be hemmed by the Sun and Mars. So this is a bit of a difficult position for Venus to be, as the Sun is definitely an enemy of Venus and Mars is a malefic. So it is in a position where it is being hemmed or restricted by two malefics. So this is a little bit of a difficult period for relationships. You want to be very careful about how you are approaching relationships, not allowing anger or ego to get into the way of your connections. It's very important at this time. This can definitely be a time where you feel like you are stuck in a situation that you can't resolve. As this continues, though, this gets better. Venus being here in its own sign of Taurus, once again, is an excellent position. So as Venus comes out of this hemming by the Sun and Mars, this is definitely going to make relationships very peaceful, very well grounded. You can have a great deal of conversation and communication to work out any sort of conflicts. This is also an excellent time for family, as the sign of Taurus is connected to our early childhood and our sense of family and community. For some of you, Venus can also help you in the area of wealth and business, as Taurus is a very entrepreneurial sign. And Venus, of course, is all about the luxuries of life. So this is an excellent placement. Once again, Venus feels very much at home here in Taurus, so giving you a great sense of comfort and happiness. Following this, on the 14th, the Sun will enter into the sign of Aries. So Sun feels exalted in Aries, especially within the first asterism of Ashwini. So right away, coming into this energy of Sun and Aries, there is a lot of strong energies coming in. This can definitely be a time of feeling a boost in your energy levels for some of you, and really getting a feeling of confidence, of charisma, of really feeling that you are in control of things and moving forward, having that forward momentum. Following this, on the 20th, we will have a solar eclipse. And of course, the solar eclipse is a very inauspicious time, as an eclipse is always where we have a shadow body that is covering up one of our luminaries. So the darkness is blocking out the sun during the eclipse. And in this case, this will be Rahu, which is covering up the sun. So this is definitely a time to not act hastily coming into this solar eclipse. This especially being in the nakshatra of Ashwini, you want to be very careful of any sort of ego issues or any sort of impulsiveness. Ashwini is all about speed. So you want to make sure that you are thinking through all of your decisions during this eclipse. Following this, on the 21st, we will have Mercury entering into the sign of Aries retrograde. So this will actually station in the nakshatra of Bharani. So as Mercury comes retrograde here, this is always, of course, a time of review, of going over everything, making sure that you're not missing out on any of the details. But as Mercury is here in Aries, this is creating a bit of a conflict here, as Mars is not happy with Mercury, and Mercury has come into the house of Mars. So this is definitely a time to not be impulsive about your decision making. There's all of this passion and intensity that is here in Aries, where you can make quick decisions and jump ahead without thinking it through. And Bharani, where this retrograde will take place, of course, is known as the star of restraint. So there is a need for self-restraint coming into this Mercury retrograde. Once again, not making hasty decisions, but finding a sense of patience and discipline is very important. Later on the 21st, we will finally see Jupiter entering into the sign of Aries. So we've been waiting for this transit for some time now. And Jupiter, of course, is friends with Mars. So this is a very positive transit as Jupiter comes into Aries. But this is not quite like Jupiter was in its own sign of Pisces, where it was more of a hermit, more of a mystic going inward. But here in Aries, Jupiter is very active, very adventurous, very ambitious. So this is a very fiery energy. This is definitely a time of being more outgoing, of being more focused on achieving your goals and pushing forward in life. This is encouraging you to live your life to the fullest and to incorporate a sense of excitement and activity in through this Jupiter in Aries. You do want to be careful though, because as Jupiter comes into the sign of Aries, it will come into a conjunction with Rahu. So Rahu tends to blow things out of proportion. And Jupiter, of course, is already a planet of expansion. So you want to be very careful about over expanding in the area where Jupiter is placed within your natal chart. At the same time, Jupiter can help to pacify some of the negative effects of Rahu. So for those of you who have been struggling with this Rahu transit, Jupiter coming in here will bless you in this area where Rahu is positioned. So let's go ahead and talk about how this month of April will affect each of you according to your moon sign or ascendant sign. And just a quick disclaimer, I am using Vedic Sidereal astrology. So I am not using Western tropical astrology. You want to make sure that you have the correct information so that you get the right interpretation. If you are not sure what your sidereal signs are, there is a calculator down below in the description where you can find out that information. For those of you with a Scorpio moon or Scorpio ascendant, we will start off this month with a full moon in your 11th house. And so this is definitely a time of letting go of the things that no longer serve you. This is definitely a time of thinking about those ideas and plans that you have and making sure that everything is realistic and practical. This full moon here in Hasta will especially be a time of letting go of old connections and attachments that are no longer serving you. This can also be a big time of wrapping up a project or a pursuit that will get you to a certain goal. So you can see some things starting to come to a close here with this full moon. Following this, Venus will be entering into your 7th house. So this is definitely a time that is excellent for relationships. Now, once again, Venus will be hemmed with the Sun and Mars when it enters into this transit. So this may be a time of frustration for some of you who are already in relationships. This can also be a bit of a frustration with finding the right partner. But as Venus comes out of this hem with the Sun and Mars, this will definitely open up opportunities for you to deal with your relationships and to come to a place of peace and agreement. So this is an excellent transit here. This Venus in the 7th house makes you very popular, very likable, very much able to relate to others. This can also bring in connections through foreign lands as well, as Venus is the ruler of your 12th house. Following this, the sun will be entering into your sixth house. So lighting up that sixth house, where this is definitely a time of looking into your health, looking into your diet, looking into all of your daily habits and routines, making sure that everything is well sorted out. This may be a time where you are really thinking about your diet and exercise routine, where you're really getting into this sixth house. The sun definitely helps you to overcome any kind of illnesses or obstacles at this time. It gives you a great deal of strength and resilience. Following this, though, we will also see a solar eclipse here in this sixth house in Ashwini. So this can also be a time where you are coming up with new solutions to problems, new ways to deal with your health-related illnesses, and so on. This is definitely a time of opening you up to new possibilities. For some of you, new job opportunities, especially as Sun is ruling over your 10th house. Following this, on the 21st, we will see Mercury, which is stationing retrograde, also here in this sixth house. So once again, reviewing your health, reviewing your daily habits and routines, making sure that everything is in order. Mercury is definitely wanting you to go over the details to make sure that you have not missed anything. Mercury, especially as it rules over your 8th and 11th house, you want to make sure that you're clearing out any debts, that you're going over your finances, making sure that everything is straightened out in this area. Following this will be the main event of Jupiter, which is also entering into your sixth house. So this is excellent. Once again, giving you a great deal of knowledge in this area around health-related matters, around legal issues, all areas of your life that you need to deal with in your practical, mundane life. Jupiter is giving you a great deal of knowledge here. This can be excellent for money-making ideas and solutions, opening you up to new doorways in your career for some of you. This is an excellent time with Jupiter coming into this sixth house, especially as Jupiter is a very auspicious planet for those of you, as it rules over your 5th and 2nd house, really bringing in some major opportunities to you for money making and wealth generation.